Over the last several days, it feels like the NBA rumor mill has been abuzz when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. From Jimmy Butler listing the Dallas Mavericks as a potential landing spot, to the Dallas Mavericks having the best odds of trading for Herbert Jones. And on this channel, we've gone over many rumors and many trades that the Dallas Mavericks could make. And although I feel like we haven't found just the right fit, there is one player that a lot of you guys have commented on my videos, and that's Larry Nance Jr., the backup power forward for the Atlanta Hawks, who's just wasting away on the bench collecting DNPs when he could be here in Dallas making an instant impact. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Larry Nance Jr., see how well he's playing for the Atlanta Hawks, what he could do for us here in Dallas, and whether or not we should make that trade. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavericks Digest, bringing the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, our last vid got only 238 likes, which I appreciate. You know, beggars can't be choosers, but I'm going to be a beggar real quick. If you're enjoying everything that we're doing here in Mavericks Digest, from the live streams, the watch-alongs, the news vids, and everything else in between, make sure you drop a like on this video. I'd appreciate it greatly. Let's try to get to 400 likes. I know we can do it. But the Dallas Mavericks have a problem, a glaring problem that we've talked about extensively on this channel, and that is our backup power forward position. Maxi Kleber, and even though his defense is still there, it is still good, it's helpful, it just isn't enough for this Dallas Mavericks team, as we are currently 1-5 when PJ Washington doesn't play. And props to PJ Washington, who's having an amazing season. He had a great season last year after the trade deadline, leading into the playoffs, helping us beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he continued that play early into this season to the point where we need PJ. We can't win games without PJ Washington. And that, unfortunately, is due to the drop-off between PJ Washington and Maxi Kleber. The gap is just far too big for this Dallas Mavericks team. We saw when Luka Doncic missed some time, Kyrie stepped up, other players stepped up, and we were able to win more games than we lost. But the same thing cannot be said for our power forward position. And on this channel, we talked about a few players that have been connected to the Dallas Mavericks in some fashion, or players that a lot of you guys have wanted. And on this channel, I had a little poll out there asking you guys, which player do you want us to go after? And we talked about Obi Toppin, where yes, he's athletic, he can score, he is a good player. In a vacuum, I do like Obi Toppin. He is a good player, but he doesn't have the defense needed for this team. We talked about Dorian Finney-Smith, who is an ex-Dallas Maverick who Luka wants to play with. He said it himself, and would fit seamlessly on this team, as he is familiar with Jason Kidd. He's familiar with all of our schemes and all of our plays, and it would be an easy fit. But one player that we haven't talked about yet is Larry Nance Jr., who I do think could be an amazing backup for the Dallas Mavericks. He's only played 10 games for the Atlanta Hawks, averaging about 16 minutes a game, but his stats are very good. If we take a look right here, in those 10 games, only 16 minutes a game, Larry Nance Jr. is averaging 8.7 points, 2.6 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 0.3 blocks, 0.9 steals, 0.4 turnovers, and 1.3 fouls per game, while shooting 63% from the field, 55% from three. He shoots 53% on corner threes, 93% of his threes are assisted, and 53% of all shots are threes. And if Maxi had stats like this, we would not be having this conversation. We wouldn't even be talking about trades. The team would be perfect. A backup power forward, putting up 8 points, 2 rebounds, shooting 63% from the floor and 55% from three. And although Larry Nance isn't attempting that many shots, only about 3, maybe 4 threes a night, 55% is still good. That shows that he knows where to find his shots. He is an effective shooter. That's something that we're not getting from Maxi. Maxi looks scared to shoot some nights. And the fact that Larry Nance has only played 10 games, there's a big clog at that position in Atlanta. There's several players before him, so that's why he's not playing. It's not because he's injured or anything like that. They just have a rotation issue. But if Larry Nance isn't getting any run over in Atlanta, which the Hawks are doing pretty well right now, at the time of recording they are the 8th seed, but if they're not going to use Larry Nance Jr. and he's on an expiring contract, why not try to trade it? Why not try to move that contract? And if the Dallas Mavericks were to make a trade for Larry Nance Jr., yes, and it's an expiring contract. You test the waters out for half a season. If it turns out to be exactly what we need, sure, offer him an extension. If not, he walks away for nothing. We create cap space. We can give that money to Quentin Grimes or to Kyrie Irving. It makes it a lot easier for Nico Harrison. But I truly do believe that Larry Nance Jr. is exactly what we need. And of any player that anybody says that we should trade for, the one thing that needs to be consistent is they need to do the things that we ask of Maxi, but better than what Maxi's doing right now. The defense of Larry Nance Jr. is definitely up there with Maxi Kleber. That's without a doubt. The offense is obviously a lot better, and they're both averaging similar minutes. minutes. If Larry Nance Jr. were to play behind PJ Washington, that would unlock so much for our offense to where we can space the floor. Larry Nance Jr. defends more power forwards and centers than Maxey, so we can play small ball with Larry Nance Jr. Larry Nance Jr. being 32 is still very athletic, has a lot of get up and go. He was in a dunk contest. Larry Nance Jr. has a lot of positives to his game that the Dallas Mavericks could definitely use if we're trying to make it back to the NBA Finals. If we take a look right here, just head-to-head stats right there. Larry Nance Jr., again, only 10 games played, 4 games less than Maxey, but averaging roughly the same minutes per game, is better than Maxey in a lot of these stats, averaging more points, assists, steals, shooting better from the floor, 3, free throw, his effective field goal, everything. The only thing that Maxey has is the rebounds, where Larry Nance is 2.6, Maxey's 3, and the blocks, where Larry Nance is 0.3 and Maxey's 0.5, where it's relatively the same. So on paper, yes, Larry Nance Jr. is the upgrade from Maxey that we need. He can do all the things we need of Maxey and more. He can shoot the 3. He can defend the 4s and 5s. He provides size, and he is available. He isn't injured in Atlanta. Like I said, there's a weird rotation. There's a real clog in his position, so that's why he's pushed to the end of the bench. If we take a look right here, the more advanced stats, and this is where the picture really is painted for the comparison of Larry Nance Jr. to Maxey Kleber. I've used this time and time again when I talk about Maxey, because on paper, the traditional stats don't really favor Maxey, but the advanced stats definitely do. And for the upper half of this comparison is their offensive stats, where Larry Nance Jr. is better than Maxey in every single thing. Anything you ask of Maxey to do offensively, Larry Nance Jr. is an upgrade, can do it even better. But on the second half of this is the defensive stats, the advanced defensive stats. And Larry Nance Jr. does everything Maxey does, but better. And the only way I can see a trade where we do get Larry and we do somehow trade away Maxey is if we do have to include either Jaden Hardy or Omax and potentially a second round pick. But for someone like Larry Nance Jr. who isn't getting that many minutes, who's getting DNPs, who's not playing, sure, why would the Hawks want to hold on to that? They've got several other players. They've got young players. They may even be thinking about maybe not a rebuild, because they are somewhat in the playoff picture. But Larry Nance Jr. obviously isn't getting a lot of attention on that team. He isn't seen as a necessity for that team, where we would hold a lot more value. And why would they accept the package of Maxey, potentially Omax or Hardy and picks? Well, you get Maxey where you're going to stash him at the end of the bench anyway, where exactly you had Larry Nance Jr., but either Omax or Hardy, and I would rather trade Hardy than Omax. You have a young guard in Jaden Hardy that you can give the room to grow, and obviously the picks just help out the Hawks. But if we take a look at this right here, Larry Nance Jr. and Maxey Kleber. Maxey Kleber is 2 inches taller than Larry Nance, but Larry Nance's wingspan is 2 inches longer. So again, the physicals are there. If we take a look right here, this usage chart is amazing, because on the left, it shows their usage. For the Dallas Mavericks, Maxey's used mainly as a spot up and a little bit of a roll man. But Larry Nance Jr. is a little bit more three-dimensional than Maxey Kleber, as yes, he's used as a spot-up shooter, but also as a roll man, but also to cut, which we don't have a lot of players that can just cut to the basket. And on the defensive end, it is night and day. Maxey does a little bit of everything from the 3 to the 4 to the 5, but for Larry Nance Jr., he's mostly on power forwards and centers, and that's exactly what we need. PJ Washington is an amazing wing defender for sure, but to have that stretch forward, that real small ball 5, that is Larry Nance Jr. to a T. And I truly do believe that's exactly what the Dallas Mavericks need. We're 1-5 without PJ. This solves that problem. And although like I've said before, Maxey's defense is still there. I'm not arguing that. But to get an upgrade at that position has to be everything Maxey does, but better. And as well as not breaking the bank. They said that Brooklyn Nets want a first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith. And a lot of people don't want to see that happen. A lot of these players may demand, a lot of these teams may demand a first-round pick for these players. But I truly believe that Larry Nance Jr. could be stolen, could be potentially fleeced for a lot less than a first-round pick. And the last thing that we're going to take a look at right here is his contract. Like I said, he's on an expiring deal. It's only $11 million. Maxey's making something similar. So it could be a 1-for-1 Maxey for Larry Nance. You throw in a few picks. We could keep Omax, who I think has been playing very well, and I would love to see Omax continue to grow on this team. But I truly believe that there is something there with Larry Nance Jr. in the Dallas Mavericks that I believe that Nico Harrison could definitely pull together for this team. Will the Atlanta Hawks take that package? It's up to them and what they prioritize. But the truth of the matter is the Dallas Mavericks know exactly what they need to upgrade from, and that is the backup power forward position. And out of any player that we've talked about, from Jimmy Butler, Herbert Jones, Obi Toppin, and even Dorian Finney-Smith, I truly believe that Larry Nance Jr. is exactly what we're looking for, and it's exactly what we'll need come playoff time. But let me know in the comment section down below. Do you agree that Larry Nance Jr. is exactly what we need? Do you think he's the player that could help us? Or do you think it's someone else? Let me know in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for making this far to the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway every single month on this channel. The only way to enter our giveaways is become a channel member of any tier. But until next time, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.